welcome again. My name is Sigrid Eldh, and I'm leading research within Ericsson on test and, of course, test automation. You can say faults, backend, debugging, quality aspects. And I'm so happy to have all of you here today. Not only is it from our project, that is really a big project, Testomat project, but we also have invited 3 other research projects in Sweden, because this is really a Swedish event. And also on the webcast and so on, I'm really happy that this is global. So the Testomat project, I'm very happy if you tweet during this event. So we have a Twitter there, handle Testomat project. I know there are also for the other research projects, Stamp, Shift, and Software Center, I'm sure they have Twitter accounts. You can also find all information from our website. And particularly, I would point out we have a YouTube channel. So much of this event, not everything, but most of it will be put into sort of small videos and put on this YouTube channel, so you can go back and look at it later. And yeah. So again, welcome everyone. One of the big things and goals with our project Testomat was really we could see a disalignment between how agile method works and also which means fast deployment continuously every day. And this is the way all of how Ericsson works today. And then we have on the other end of the scale safety critical systems. And in all kinds of business with safety critical demands, you can really see there is a lot of standard there that really sort of stops the way how we test. So the test, if you look into the standards, the test regulatory rules are a bit, you can say, old-fashioned compared to how you work with agile methods. It doesn't really rhyme well. You know, deliver quick, deliver, how can you secure? And even within telecom, it's really easy to miss that when you do a change in the software, you actually have to retest everything. Now, the advantage is if you have automated all your tests, it should be relatively easy to do so. But when you have millions and millions of test cases, and you also come in with new, it's like you really have to have things in place to make this work. I think I've been talking about test automation since '92, and I see we have come a long way. Not everyone have still gone into this. I heard in the radio this morning it was this talk about digitalization, and I think this is the big drive around for a lot of businesses, that we really can put a lot of the ways we work into automation. And this will put completely different requirements and control, both on security of the data, but also how we get there. And of course, I think it's really easy to think about test automation. We really need to be securing good quality for the long term. So this is our project. We're actually halfway through. It's a 3-year research project. 6 countries, 34 partners. And here is the Swedish team. I put together a little, here we are, kind of, so you can recognize and talk to us. But one slide didn't make it, so I had to do 2 slides. And that this research project wasn't the most easy for our funding agencies to fund, because it's really what is testing doing, right? And also all these tools vendor, we're not typical targets. So we have tool vendor, and of course testing has a lot of different tools. We have consultants who works in testing, and then of course the normal universities who really helped us lift the bar and do the research and innovation. And then all the use cases, meaning all the industries. And we are very fortunate in this project because we have very wide variety of industries involved. And of course, Ericsson is one of them. What I can continue and talk about is how important I think putting these collaborations across Europe, the globe, and all this research is doing for the industries. Because what it does, it really sort of encourage you to continue your work into a new. Even if you're not there today, you really see how far you can go. And I think it's so exciting that we already have fantastic results from our project, even only 1.5 years in. And research projects have such a long, you can say, turnover compared to the everyday work. And of course, at Ericsson, we want to be world best. So we really try to be world best also in testing. And we have been dominating the scene for a long time. So you can also say parts of this is to feed back out to others to lift themselves up. But there are, of course, holes, like it is in everything you do. But I must say I'm impressed how early we adapted our agile methods. I think we have a Rolls-Royce continuous build continuous delivery engine that we're really proud of, how we can really have so many thousands of people creating test cases. And running them 24/7 all around the globe, fixing problems, reporting. And of course, when you have done your first set of hundreds of automated test cases, you soon run into other problems. And I think that is what Testomat project wanted to say. Okay, what happens now? You have automated your test suite. What are the problems you can do? Well, you can always put more intelligence in how you find the more important things, like test prioritization, for instance. How to optimize this suite. How can you maintain millions of test cases? You have a lot of refactoring aspects to think about your test suite. And if you have 1 million of test cases, how can you, as a user, find what has been done before? It's not easy to find the test case that I need for my new particular solution. We have organized ourselves. So our main goal was to balance agile, you can say. Agile, the speed of delivery, with the need to get quality into our project. And we're going to do this, of course, so we have these open seminars as a part of our delivery. We have organized ourselves in what's called work packages. That's, you know, how you do every different project. And our main project work packages are test effectiveness, which is really about how do you have the right test to find the right bugs, right? But effectiveness is also meaning it's not the amount, but it's really, can we locate the faults we have in our software? And we actually said, well, it's easy. You use coverage, right? Code coverage, test coverage, and that's how you find all your faults. But what we have learned is that it's not enough. And a lot of people also say, no, coverage, that doesn't measure our tests, right? But it's still good because it is you can say a very objective measurements, but it's more useful on code level. It's not so useful when you sit and do performance test, have it covered everything. And requirement coverage is not easy. I've actually in my lifetime heard rules about, 4 test cases per requirement. I said, no, it can be 1 requirement, but it could be millions of test cases, or at least thousands to test that particular requirement. So it has no size effect. And of course, we want these automatic techniques to really go through all these layers of integration and really say we have tested every aspect of our code. So what we are doing is we're taking our different areas, prioritization, test effectiveness, and also we really look at non-functional testing, which are all this capacity, robustness, etc., which are extremely hard to automate. I mean, automating the test execution is easy, but automating the analysis of the result, that's not so easy. So we have this, it's also a lot of focus here of combining techniques like static analysis together with testing and looking into other ways to use simulators and emulators. And then finally we said, okay, what is the best way to teach the industry? Let's do automatic sort of improvement. They're really an improvement model that can help anyone in any industry to move forward. And we will have talks from all of these areas, I think, today. You can see in the corners we have trains, we have planes, we have telecom, we also have factory, forestry machines, we have a bank in Turkey. So we have a lot of different type of use cases in our project. And of course, we all circle around getting the right metrics. Because, you know, testing is about measurement of quality. And you can really count that. But how do we know our test suites are enough? So, when we look into our project, we really organized ourselves in different tasks. And we are having 28 tasks in this project. And I thought, okay, but we are really running this as an agile project. And it turns out we have 28 mini projects in our team. So it's a huge amount. But here you can also see the feedback in doing like that you get a lot of different things happening. So it's a nightmare to be a project leader for such a project because everyone it's just like mushrooms. But overall, it's fantastic because we really get a lot of things happening in the project. So I'm very proud about that. So in test effectiveness, it's really to handle, so here are examples from our different tasks. Handle the overload of tests, how can you maintain it? And we have already now adapted new tools to really find different patterns in our, so we had an example from a JCat Jenkins where it was just checking duplications of test cases. And these duplications of test cases was really patterns of several percent. But the duplications is like if you have removed all duplications, copy-paste, right? Your amount of code is really huge, but you need to go through and shrink it down to smaller patterns so you can have library thinking and, you know, architecture that really utilizes your test code. And I think we can shrink our current test suites, I don't know how many percent, but if you understand the cost of the power to just run these every hour over and over and all the time, it's a lot of money just in pure energy you save by reducing the size of your test suite. But if you have a large company, it will happen that people will create new test cases with new goals, right? Test prioritization, this is, I think, the area where a lot of people think that it's sort of the first step you do. You end up with a lot of test cases when you automate, and then you need to prioritize. But prioritization really goes from the very first step to the very last step. You can always optimize your test suite. And I'm very proud here in Ericsson, we have a lot of these tools using machine learning and really advanced techniques, selecting based on different quality attributes. And we also written a little booklet around this. Testing for quality standards, that's really what we're going to contribute is new ways of measuring our code. And we also look into requirements testing, static analysis combined for testing non-functional, which I think is a new idea. and also these intelligent simulations to speed up the way you build and test in an agile context. So I have a sort of a one characteristics, which is this is based on 9126 standard, but it really shows an example of all the different test areas you need to do. And you can see the first there, functional suitability. That's the function test, as we call it simply. But the rest here are really non-functional tests that need to be done. And it's interesting because I think we were 76 when the first standard this is built on. I think it's basically built on how Ericsson tested their software. I have strong, not really proofs, but strong indications that's how it happens. I have talked to the people who did that. And I can see now today we have also some areas where we're not so good in doing this. So even if you're great in one area, you can have work to do in another area. And as it is for most, it might not be that everyone is doing the right. So the larger company it is, some places are great and some needs more work, right? So our test improvement, it's really built on this CMM, if you know, TMM, TPI, which are test automation improvements like step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where the first is optimization, or the last is optimization, the first is really doing it. And we thought, okay, we're really going to make our own model here to learn how to improve. So what is happening in Sweden? And I can tell you, great software testing research. And I know it happens all over the world as well. Ericsson guys, I know that. But here today, I feel like we have a lot of researchers because we have understood the value of good testing. This is the area where industries really can save money by automating the way of working, by finding new ways. And I think, as Harry said before, it's more and more complex, our systems. We have no way of doing this manually in the future. We really need smart, intelligent ways to test our software, right? So I think you all got at least one booklet, maybe on these 41 reasons for test automation. Our working project was it should be 42, but I challenge you to give us the one reason we have not yet found on this booklet. But it's also available, of course, to download from our website, Testomat project. We also have this selecting the right tests. I think this name changes a bit. But the good news is we will also produce some books as a result of this project. So there will be e-books and there will also be real books to read, where we really have utilized all the knowledge we have with all our partners, investigated, done research to really drive this. So, as I want to finally say, it starts with collaboration, right? Between us all who are invested on the next level of test automation. And I think it really is about teaching those who are behind in one way, and also learning from those who are ahead. And I think that's the way we can change the world to better. And maybe this have been all my life. I really wanted less bugs on my sort of software and all the gadgets that I use. I just don't want to have to hassle. And maybe it's because I had a car that didn't start when I was young. This is how I got imprinted of things not working and how horrible it could be, right? So books, booklets, webs, videos. Really our goal in Testomat is 300 videos. We're about 12 now, so we have all homework, but we have a lot of things in store. So find us, talk to us, and we will change the way we test, right? Thank you.